Hey everyone, welcome to the Gathering Paracast. My name is Stephanie.
And I'm Heidi, and we're here for the Paranormal Smorgasbord along with two of our friends. So, do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Cindy.
I'm Jerry.
Two of our super fans
Definitely.
and BFFs.
Yep, and they're also in our paranormal groups. And we have Jason Trost, our magnificent producer, on screen too.
Thank you,
welcome
everybody.
to the Paranormal Smorgasbord.
We're all gathering
welcome.
around the metaphysical table here tonight.
Yes.
We've got a full table.
We
We
do
do.
have a full table.
Look at this.
Absolutely. Isn't this fun? We're going to try to do this every Paranormal Smorgasbord, get a few people around the table with us
Mhm.
because it just makes it more fun.
Right.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So
I
do we.
Too.
So do we.
So here in Minnesota, it snowed. I had over 10 inches of snow at my house last night.
And I had one inch of
Yeah.
snow.
Isn't that crazy? And you're only like 30 miles away.
Right.
It's not like it's 100 miles. It's like 30 miles away.
Yeah.
And it's been a day.
Is-
It's been a day.
Is that because of the lake?
No, this is just a
It was just the way
front that came
yeah.
through. And
Yeah, it was a big sloppy spring storm. So
if
we
we
got
were up by Lake Superior, this would be happening a lot.
a lot. Yeah,
A
it's
lot.
the lake effect snow up there.
Yeah. But we're too
Yeah,
far away.
Yeah.
A little north of us, they get lake effect snow, but we don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, this was like the biggest snowstorm we've had all year.
I think so. Yeah, for you
And
guys.
it was wet, heavy snow because it was raining yesterday, and
Yeah.
then it turned over around this time yesterday.
Yeah.
So, and then we got massive amount of snow.
Some did, some didn't.
Yes, you didn't. I did. And I had to shovel from my back door to the driveway today, and I thought I was going to die. Thank God for my snow guy, because then he came this afternoon and dug me up. But yeah, oof. Can I just say?
How about you, Jerry?
It didn't bother me none, actually.
Listen,
Except for when I got to work. I worked for the city of Columbia Heights in the liquor department at the liquor store. And
The Muni.
because
Yeah.
everybody
Nice.
we
drinks.
got there and they never snowplowed ours out.
Oh.
So we had to do everything ourselves.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
And then right when I was leaving at 5:00, they showed up and they went, "Oh, I guess a lot of it melted."
No.
It's like,
No, we
wow,
shoveled.
lazy people.
Man.
Yeah, it was like shoveling wet cement.
Oh, it was heavy.
It was. Yeah, snow
It
blowers
was
didn't
heavy.
work.
No,
No,
Yeah, I had to do it all by hand.
you needed either a plow or a shovel.
it was, it was hard.
Anyway,
It was hard.
we're almost
So
done.
there
with
we
it.
go.
We're almost
yeah.
done with it. It's all good.
All right. So
So we're
Time-
gonna pull a
time
card.
to pull a card. So
Our
this is
weekly
a
card.
different deck. This is a very different deck.
It's a
I've never
different
seen
deck.
one quite like this.
This deck has a little sass to it, and I was
Let's have a
feeling a little sassy today,
Ooh,
probably because
sassy.
of the snow, and
Yes.
I'm just got a little attitude today. So anyway, the deck that we're using is called the Points of View Oracle, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to show this without getting
Mhm.
too much of a glare.
Yeah.
It's called Points of View Oracle deck by Beth Kelly, and I like it. I love the drawings; they're very simple, but it's got a little bit of sass to it, which I'm not opposed to most days. I've got a couple of decks. I've got some sass to them. So I thought I'm feeling it today. So that's the one I decided to go with. So
Sassy.
yeah, so I did mix these up earlier. You guys saw me shuffle.
Mhm.
So I'll give it a couple more. And I don't care who says stop. Someone say stop when it's time. And I'll pick the top card.
You want to do the honors? I think right. No.
Okay. Leave
Okay.
it at that. So here's the top card. And this card is called Look Up Precious. And it's got
Nice.
pair for those that are just listening. It looks like a pair of eyes,
Oh.
and there's tears coming out, but they might be tears of blood because the tears are
Oh.
red. Did you see that?
yeah, I do see that. Oh.
So
my
it's called
goodness.
Look Up Precious.
Can you see it at all?
see if you can push
Well,
that there?
What would those red tears symbolize?
Well, we're gonna
Wow.
find out right
We're
now.
Probably this.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I'm impatient.
So this is probably hopefully in alphabetical order because I
Yeah.
don't see a number on that.
No.
So we're gonna look up Precious. Okay, so here's what this card says. Look up, precious. Shame doesn't live here. Raise your eyes and stand tall. Others may have hurt you or sent you messages that you are not enough. They were wrong. You are enough. You are lovable. You are whole. Look up, precious. Reminds you that you are worthy. No need to cast your gaze down any longer. Raise your eyes and find your balance. Be courageous and be bold. Look around and see your place. Look up, precious, gives you the ability to spin and dance with a 360-degree view of this world where you are perfectly placed and perfectly whole. Well, that's nice. Not what I expected.
Fierce. Saying to be
It's
fierce.
not what I expected either.
Right.
No.
I mean, it's good. It's good. It's a good message.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So you all listening are worthy. Just
Are
so you know.
worthy.
So look up.
Yes. Yes.
I'll take it.
I know, right? I love
good.
it. Yeah. So I do love it. It's a good deck, and it feels pretty like real and raw and sassy and all that. And I do like this deck. So anyway, thank you. And if you're interested, go get your Points of View Oracle by Beth Kelly. There you go.
Perfect.
I've worked with this deck a few times, and I do like it. So. And the decks, just saying, the decks that I use, they're all part of my personal collection. I have had a lot of these decks for a long time. Some of them, I get along the way, but they're all mine, and I love them all. So anyway, that's what I got. There you go. You're all worthy.
How many decks would you say you have?
Total between here and home, I probably between tarot and oracle decks have over 100 decks.
How
Nice.
Over 100 decks.
Jerry. God.
He's
They're
like,
not cheap
"What?"
either.
Well, I didn't say I got them all yesterday.
No, no.
Right,
I've been
right.
doing this for 25 years.
Yeah. And
So 4 a year doesn't seem unreasonable.
That's right.
And I mean,
That's
I've
right.
been gifted some too. Some of them have been gifted to me, which I am very grateful for. So yeah, so that I've accumulated, and I actually gotten rid of a lot of decks
Wow.
over the years too. I mean, because sometimes there's a deck that just doesn't resonate,
work.
right?
Yep.
And it's
No,
like,
I
oh,
was under the impression that if you get a deck, that deck is yours. You can't give it away.
no,
Or if somebody touches the deck, you then have to burn it.
no,
No.
Or something. No.
nope.
No.
So it would be different for each person. So that could be someone saying, okay, this is how I do it. And if they're also saying this is how you have to do it, I don't think that's appropriate because it's different for each deck owner, right? So anybody that has decks, it's like, well, whatever. I've worked with people who do tarot readings and they're like, they will not let anybody touch their deck. That is like
Yeah.
absolutely no way.
Yeah.
When I do tarot readings, so one of the things I was going to talk about this weekend, or is from this weekend, and I did tarot readings for everybody in this group that we were with for the weekend. And every person I would shuffle and then I would give it to them and say, cut and stack.
Yep.
Because I want them to know that they're responsible for whatever cards come up, because I don't want someone. So if I just shuffle the deck, let's say this is a tarot deck, right? Which it isn't, but let's say I shuffled it and whatever card ends up on top, and then I start laying out the cards, right? I don't want, like, if they don't like the reading, they're like, well, you just picked the cards, you just knew, or come up with some weird, whatever they think it is. And I'm like, nope. So if the last thing they did, go ahead and cut and stack that. If the last thing I did is I handed it to them and they cut and stack the deck, so they're touching it, it's their energy. It's their last like shuffle, so to speak. So now those cards are there. This is Stephanie's reading. And I would start just from the top and lay out the cards so that they own it. It's their responsibility to own that reading.
Yep.
So stuff like what you're talking about is good points, because some people are like, no, if you're gifted a card, it's yours for life.
No.
If you don't want it, you have to burn it, and do whatever. Like, okay, that might be for some people. I think that isn't how it's supposed to be. I think sometimes you get a deck of cards and it just doesn't resonate. And you're like, maybe this is supposed to be for someone else, or maybe I'll give it to someone, or I'll sell it or whatever. Yeah, that's no problem. And if I get one from someone, I'll clear it first, because I don't know, their energy might be in it or whatever. And then, you want to clear anything like that. But yeah, I think it's a lot more flexible.
Yeah, because the term I heard was it's a dead deck.
Oh,
another word. No, not meaning someone.
No, I know what you mean though, but I know.
It's,
Mhm.
it was somebody touched it or whatever and stuff. It's a dead deck, so it's not supposed to be
No.
used again.
And again, that would be someone else's, like, that's how they do it.
Mhm.
Okay.
And they might have
Yeah.
reasons
I mean,
and
everybody
think that they're
has-
very good reasons. I don't
Mhm.
think that that's
Or
the
they
case.
could probably just have one deck and they don't want nobody to mess with it.
Right.
You've got 100.
As some people do. They have
so
one
you
deck.
don't care. Yeah.
They'll use it till it falls to pieces
Yes.
and nobody can touch it and whatever.
Yes.
And that's cool. That's how they want to do it.
Now, I'm kind of sorry. I'm kind of taking over your show.
No,
I'm sorry.
no, that's why we're here.
I'm kind of curious. The decks from way back, like how far is the first recorded deck of tarot or oracle or?
So it depends. It depends. So like tarot, if you're looking, like the major arcana was started first before the minors were added later. The major arcana came around like I think it's 1400s,
How far?
like 1400s. And it was
really?
used as a game. It
Mhm.
was the spiritual divination part wasn't added until later, as well as the minor arcana. So the major arcana was first, and that was, quite a few hundred years ago. And the modern version of the tarot deck is based off of the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck that was in like early 1900s, 1914, 1912, something like that. Don't quote me; it's
Mhm.
not the exact date, but that's where a lot of modern day tarot decks are based off of, is the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, which is the most common one that's used, unless you're using
They're
a
scary
closed
looking
deck.
decks. I think I don't like them.
What?
They scare me. I don't like
Tarot
those.
decks?
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
okay.
the one you're talking
Rider-Waite-Smith,
about.
there's like
Old-fashioned ones.
no, they're normal. There's a lot worse decks than that. Okay. Anyway, yeah.
Well, worth-wise, with a deck like that from back in those days, any of it, something that, that it has more power or no,
Mm-mm.
nothing like that.
No, value would be the only thing. If
Value
you had
only.
something that's that old, I don't even know how you get something like that. I know if I found some, I couldn't afford them because,
Right.
that would be considered a historic artifact. I would imagine something from that. I'm sure
it's
that
from
there's
the
some out there,
1700s,
but for how old that is, anything that's that old, that's paper, any kind
Yeah.
of ephemera is going to be really expensive from something in the 1400s. I mean, anything, it
Oh,
doesn't
for
matter
sure.
what it is. So
Historical documents. Yeah.
so it'd be just the paper value, historic
Mhm.
value alone would be
Mhm.
astronomical.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I learned something today, and
See?
I hope
That's
you all
good.
did too.
I've got a question too. Like you talk about, you've gotten rid of some. Is there any special like process where you're like ending the line and this deck isn't going to be given to somebody? I'm basically throwing it away. Is there like a ritual that you go through? Because like with me, with like books, I find every excuse in the world not to ever throw them away or get rid of them. I might stack them somewhere or something, but it feels almost sacrilegious. Is there like a formal way of like sending a deck to the next realm?
Yeah. So, I mean, formal, not formal. For me, not formal. I'll clear it. And basically, I'll give the energy of it and say, because I'll know if I'm not using it anymore. Like, that'll be obvious. And so I'll actually like say to it, hey, deck, you're great, just not for me. Thanks for your service, but you need to fulfill your sole purpose. Like, you sitting on my shelf is not, like, I look at everything as having a sole purpose. So the food that we eat, the cars that we drive, the decks that we use, everything has, if it's created, it has some kind of sole purpose. And so for it to be sitting in a junk, sitting on a shelf or whatever, just doing nothing isn't fulfilling its sole purpose. So like you're talking about books. If there's books, like I have a handful of books at home I love to read. I probably have 20 books at home that I will never get rid of.
Right.
Period. That's it. I don't have bookcases of stuff because it's not living its sole purpose. These books are meant to be read. So I'll take them on vacation and I'll leave them in the Airbnbs that I'm staying in, or I'll, ask someone at, on the beach, do you want a book? I'll hand them out. Like if I'm bringing something with me, it needs to like keep living, keep fulfilling its sole purpose. So I want to continue that energy and let the item be like happy, like, hey, someone wants me, someone wants to use me. So I don't feel bad giving away a deck or selling it or whatever, because I figure it's going to go to the person that's supposed to go to, that it will continue to live its sole purpose. And that makes me feel good.
Yeah. See, my sister has one of those little libraries out in her front yard. So usually, unless I'm in love with the book and I know I'll read it again and again and again, they go over there. Yeah. And then other people can enjoy them,
Give them away too, unless they're signed copies.
Exactly. Right. You keep those.
I used to keep them, but I read too much. And I figure same thing. You're just sharing the joy. Passing them around. So
exactly.
Yeah, because we've exchanged books, and I'll be like, just keep it or give it away when you're done with it, and you'll do the same. They're like, I don't want it back. I'm like, okay, so then you stick them in someone's free library, or give a bag to someone that loves to read, or
exactly.
Let it keep living its sole purpose.
Prop up a shelf maybe that's starting to lean a little.
Well, no, because that's not living. There are things for that, not books.
Right.
That would not be living its sole purpose.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, it's a good question. It's a good topic, really, because you think, what do I do with the old stuff that I don't want anymore, but I don't like, what do I do with it? It's like, well, it still has a sole purpose, doesn't it? So maybe it wants to keep living its sole purpose. So
when I was a Cub Scout leader way back when, we one of the things that we ended up going over was the deconstruction of a flag, of an American flag, and the proper way of doing that. And that was one of my favorite lessons that me and the Scouts did, because you really thought about it, and it broke it down, like you're removing the C from the stripes, and you go through this whole process of basically retiring a flag, and it was a cool thing to do with the Scouts, and it makes me think of things like like tarot decks and books and things of import to people, a laying to rest, so to speak.
Yep. Well, and it's items of reverence, right? It's not like it's items like if it's an oracle deck or a tarot deck. It's an item that you're using to connect on some levels with divine energy. And, so there's this level of respect and reverence that you have, like for the flag and, other items like that. There's definitely a level of respect that you want to give to that item for its service. And the energy behind the service and the history of it, and too. So there are certain items that there's some, it's not like just selling, your tablecloth at the garage sale. There's a little different level of intention there. So,
especially when somebody doesn't buy the tablecloth, because then what do you do with it?
Then you donate it. Donate it to a place that is like for shelters or for families in need, or something that they can just get that stuff free too. Then that's good
for sure.
Yeah. So, anywho, good start to the show.
Good.
Good questions. I like
it.
I love questions. It's awesome. Awesome. So, what did you guys? Now, you guys had an event this past weekend.
Oh, we did.
Right?
Jerry, you want to talk about our event? The
event was awesome.
It was big.
It was other than just showing people like things that we found in the paranormal and everything, we also let people know what we're doing with Sim Crew Cold Case, and that we're actually working with a family trying to find what happened to their loved one. It's all of a sudden one day, back in the 70s, she was missing, and there has not been anything found. But at the same time, the person that they thought about is the one that did it. Also, a friend of mine from in the 90s, she used to buy pet supplies from me. I had my own pet supply place. And she was such a sweet kid. She just was so sweet. And I once in a while I would drop off to her and stuff, or she would call and say she needed stuff. Well, one particular day she ordered some stuff that was different. And so I went to go and deliver it to her. She wasn't there. A week later, tried again when I happened to be in that neighborhood, nothing. Tried calling, nothing. And then about 3 months or 6 months after that, I was reading the newspaper and it said Martha Bacon found dead in pieces. So her head was cut off, her legs, her arms, her legs were found. Somebody's dog brought it home.
Oh my
too.
Wow.
And it was like, it's always something I always wondered what happened to this girl, you know? And with my team that I have right now, it's 2024 was the best for us finding the right people. These guys are amazing. And I mentioned to them about the cold case type aspect of paranormal investigating, because I believe that spirits talk to each other and they can talk to you too. So we decided to go for it. And it was so weird because 2 weeks after, one of my investigators, Annie, said, there's a girl that just posted on YouTube by the name of Amy Pierce. She had a show called Aren't You the Girl? And it was about Martha Ann Bacon. And so I thought, I got to get a hold of this girl. So I did. And she sent 555 pictures of all the documentation of when she was missing.
Wow.
And it was really hard to look through, knowing this person and seeing some of the things that I seen. But then the team, we went out to different places. The first place we went to that we were looking for Martha, we're all walking and stuff. And then all of a sudden this laugh, this evil,
just appears,
disgusting laugh.
We didn't hear it. It came through on
on
the cam.
And it was so weird to hear that when we were playing it back, because I'm like, what? And there was nobody even around us whatsoever.
It's out on our website if anybody wants to look at it. It's on
our website is siminnesota.com. Yeah. And so then we started going for it. And then there was another girl that we got a hold of their sisters. Her sisters, her parents are dead now. And we've been working with them. That's the one we can't say the name because we have to do a thing for them in their county. And then we can finally bring out. And this spring, we're going to be checking a couple lakes.
Well, because actually the spirits.
We
several times
a lot of people call them
right.
A lot of people call them seances. I didn't like the word, So I said, you said what's called the calling of the spirits.
Yep.
And we only let females on the team do it. Males don't. I think the female energy can get more done than a man's energy. Well,
especially for this, because all the victims were women, and there were several victims of this one particular individual, and all in Wright County. So
everything that where they found the different bodies were right around this guy's place. And it's it was terrible. It's right now he's just a suspect, and he's in Moose Lake. And I thought he's going to be there for the rest of his life.
Does he get out?
No, he can get out anytime he wants.
Oh my!
If he feels that he doesn't have a problem,
I thought he was. I thought he was on a sentence.
He what?
I thought he was sentenced to there.
No, he's
that's
been
a
found
scary
guilty,
thought.
but he can leave there anytime he wishes. And I actually got a hold of that prison, and I want to talk to him. Steph was really against this, so was the team.
He's evil.
But I started thinking about it. I thought, you got reporters going to talk to him. He doesn't even talk to reporters.
So he was already convicted of a murder? He was already convicted of murder?
He was convicted of being a serial rapist.
Yes.
Oh, got it.
So he's been in and out of prison for the last 50 years.
he has been out.
Yes.
Wait, when you said he could get out at any time, I'm confused.
No, he
So-
can get out.
Oh,
So he's
can
not
get
on a
out.
sentence right now. So
Wh-
where
which
is he?
one?
Is he just at a sanitarium or something?
Yeah.
so
Oh,
he's like
yep.
self-imposed.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Oh,
got it.
Yeah.
okay. I
And
didn't
it
know
keeps
that.
him
I
out
didn't
of
know that.
jail. You know?
Oh, so that's
But-
why.
so
But
then
still, if he
I-
gets out of there, he doesn't go to jail.
What's that?
If he gets out of there, he won't go to jail, or
Then
is
he won't go. No, he won't go to jail. He's already served his time.
oh, got
He
it,
served
Oh.
over his time.
got it.
But when I did that and said I was a paranormal investigator, I want to talk to him about a few things. There was 6 different people that were trying to talk with him.
Mm-hmm.
He's turned them all down. He has not turned down mine yet. It's still sitting there. He's thinking about it.
Okay.
So I would love to go in there
Mm-hmm.
and, kind of talk with him. And everybody's afraid, oh, he's going to mess with your mind. No, I'm going to actually
Guy is
mess
pure
with
evil.
his.
Pure evil.
I think I can do it.
So you're going to
Wow.
try and get him to confess to murders?
Not really confess, just try to get his belief of the paranormal and what happens when a person then passes away, or if their body and their life were taken from them.
Mm-hmm.
What does that make that certain person feel like afterwards? And then just kind of build on him a little bit and see if he kind of spits anything out.
So, like, will you approach that with? I mean, since he's already been convicted, would you start like that just only on paranormal, or would you relate it to, like his victims or something?
Well, I would. I think I would start it off first off by talking with him. Make it look like I'm friendly. And then start talking about ghosts, about what his belief is. And then again, just kind of talk about, like if somebody was to take one of his son's life or his daughter's life or his wife's life and stuff like that, how would that react with him?
Yeah.
And stuff. And then talk about, spirits, about what, some are still stuck around. Like one of the girls that, her name is June Hessler, and she's on our team, or she's kind of on our team. She's a
Advisor.
Psychic. And, but when I go to talk with her, she won't allow me to tell me anything what's happening. She gets in touch with her spirit guides and then tells me what I'm about to ask. And it's completely right every single time.
Oh, that's
It's
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah, that
She
would
is
be.
good.
And this last time I talked to her, she said she said, my spirit guides are telling me that you have a question. And I said, I do. And she said, I'm just going to, you don't have to tell me, because I'm going to tell you that Martha kind of remembers you. And that
wow.
they
That's your
both
gal.
are saying, and that was the question
Wow.
I was going to ask. And then that they applaud you. I go, they? She goes, you're looking at Victoria Morris's death too. That Victoria Morris is earthbound. She can't leave. She wonders what happens with her child. She kind of knows that her child went someplace better. And Martha, she has crossed over.
Okay.
She's accepted that this is the end.
Yeah.
But they haven't found all of her body yet. And that's one
No.
thing I want to find.
Mm-hmm.
I want to
See.
find. I mean, I'm not going to take it home and make a coat rack
No.
out of it.
Oh, and this
Let's hope not.
No.
and this murderer hasn't been
Maybe.
convicted
No.
for any of their disappearances or murders. He's been convicted of serial rapists.
Well, he hasn't been charged with any
No, that's
murder
what I just
whatsoever.
said.
Yeah.
So
If we can just prove one thing, get one shred of evidence that connects him to any one of these murders, then he's done. He's gone.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not coming back
well, I
out.
hope he never gets out, Dick.
So I really feel I can do something with that. And I know that Amy Pierce of Aren't You the Girl, she wants to go badly with me. And the thing is, she is more his particular kind. Because one of the EVPs we did, I asked, if, I had one of the
Yeah.
girls ask, do you know so-and-so? And it came back with,
Leave her.
he's
Well, no,
particular.
first
And
he
it's-
said, they said, leave her. And then they
Yeah,
said,
leave her, and then
do you know this
particular.
person? And then the answer was, yeah, he's particular.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
yeah.
what everybody has ever said about him. Police,
Mm-hmm.
reporters, 2 different reporters. He's very particular.
He's got a type.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
So
I don't
I'm,
know. It's fascinating. And Amy Pierce is now on our team for the
Yep,
cold
she's now
case
part of-
investigation. So yeah, it's fun.
she's very excited about
Yeah.
it.
Cool. Well, you have to keep us posted.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long ago did you apply to?
I applied, I think it's been maybe 3 months now.
I think it was that. Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's still sitting there. That's the thing that kills me the most,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because from what I feel is that he's into the paranormal. So being in there, being able to watch TV shows and stuff,
Mhm.
that would throw the biggest question out. Why does this guy want to talk to me?
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, and I'm not saying that
Interesting.
I can get any kind of info out of anybody, but I think if you just talk to them right as they're a human, even
Mhm.
though inside this guy's an animal,
Mhm.
Yeah.
he's worse than an animal.
Yeah.
Wow.
Animals can be forgiving and can walk the other way. This guy never did.
Mhm.
Never did.
Oh.
So
Wow.
Fascinating.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
I'm a,
But anyway, our job throughout this is to bring peace to the families and the spirits, right? So we're still trying to find that girl that's never been found. Spirit is telling us she's in a lake, and we know what lake. And so we were gifted with an underwater drone. So we're going to put it in there. And it's a lake there's no one living on it. It's just a smaller lake in between several others. And
and we had someone donate to us
yeah.
a drone, underwater drone,
Oh,
That's
wow.
to $700.
Yeah. So
And I've been playing
Does-
we're
with
going
it.
to use it.
Oh my God, it's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
That's fun.
That's awesome. Now, how does that work underwater? Does it have a light source with it?
Yes, it does. It's got a very high powered light with it. It takes video or pictures. It's got thrusters like you wouldn't believe. I mean, I put it in my bathtub and it
Oh,
just,
you did?
it was crazy.
Oh.
So
Is it like torpedo shaped?
it's about like that big,
Uh-huh.
it's the size of Steph's head, maybe a little bigger.
What's it shaped like though?
Yeah.
Is
What's
it-
it shaped like?
Yeah, it's shaped like a football.
Like a
Yeah.
football? Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of like a football.
Oh, that's cool. Even
And it's,
even if you don't come up with any clues or paranormal, just the whole process is going to be fun and
yeah.
cool.
Yep, it's
Totally.
got an umbilical cord that goes to a Wi-Fi floater, and then it just my phone attaches to the game console,
Mhm.
Okay.
and you can
Mhm.
do it right from there and everything.
Cool.
And it's
That's really
Yeah.
it's
fun.
amazing.
Mhm.
It's amazing, and it's one that you can set. So if you set it over something, it will stay right there. Even if there's a current, it'll fight against the current
Oh.
to stay exactly where you.
Nice.
It's
That's
way
super cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because I've messed around with some aerial drones, just basically enough to buy them and then crash them. But I could just imagine with an underwater one, that would be really fun for about probably 20 minutes until I somehow disabled it.
Well, you got to remember, it's always on it's got 49 feet of tether, and if you do pull it through, it also comes with picks to get all the seaweed out of the thrusters.
Oh,
So you can
Nice.
take it out in a boat then,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
then drive it around
Yep.
to get
Yep.
into the middle and wherever.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, that'd be
So
cool.
49 feet of that, and then you can be up to 30 feet away from my phone.
Oh, okay.
So that's a good 70
Huh.
some feet,
Yeah. Huh. Cool. Well, keep us posted on that too. I just want to hear how it worked.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Once you
Yeah,
use it.
that'd be some cool footage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Totally. That would be.
Bring in some footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you don't find anything,
Oh,
just so we
yeah.
can see
Oh,
how
yeah.
it works.
Like, yeah, that'd be
See.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've kind of seen something in the water,
You did.
and it looks like a duffel bag, an old duffel bag
Mm.
from when I was a kid. I'm old. And Steph was saying, no, that's weeds. And I know it's not, because the nylon, the way it moves, the thing is, we can't take that out of there. If we see with the drone that it is, we have to call the sheriff's department
Mhm.
and have them scoop it out, because if there is any, any evidence in there and stuff,
Right.
to
Yeah.
help out this guy,
Mhm.
Yeah, we
We
don't
don't
want to
wanna
wreck
touch
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But you'd have to have. It would have to be clear that there's
Yes.
something that's worth going for.
Yes.
So
Right.
you can't just be running around going, oh, I think there's something down here. Here's a black shadowy thing.
Right.
You know, they'd
right.
be like, we need to see something more
Right.
clear than this.
I mean, I think if we found something like that, I would get in and look myself and just not
You
touch
would
it.
what?
I would get in the water and look.
Of course.
Because
yeah.
I don't think it's in very deep right there.
Of
'Cause
course you
Annie
would.
and I both
Yeah.
said we would jump in, but
Oh, there you go. Just make sure you bring a mask and everything. So you
Yeah.
can see.
That drone that I just recently wrecked, actually, I bought that off of Katie Elizabeth from.
you did? Oh,
Yeah, she had put something on Facebook for. I was like, oh, and I did. I had a blast with that for a long time, and then I kind of had a
Crashed it.
final wreck with it, and its arms are all like this, and so I've been talking to a buddy who also has a wrecked one, and we're gonna try and resurrect the two of
Yeah.
them into one, and
Frankenstein 'em.
yeah.
Nice.
And I've had them
like
like
it, yeah.
fly away,
Yes.
like all of a sudden they're just like they go on their own. They're just they're going. You're like, oh no, and yeah, because you get a little bit of money tied up into it, and then you're like, oh geez, where did you go? And I wasn't even being super reckless with it. I did something just a little bit wrong, and I had it flipped over. I was like, oh man, because sometimes you get lucky, but
There
not
it
that
goes.
time. Yep.
There's definitely a talent in those. They
Well, I hope
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
wreck this one right off the bat.
well, no, I don't think I will.
But just think
Yeah.
that these things are living their sole purpose.
Yes.
So even if it
There you
died
go.
living its sole purpose, it was meant to
Uh-huh.
be. There it is.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
we have a comment from Sherry Rose, and she says, "Hey all, so nice to catch you live and hear your beautiful voices."
Aw.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Sweet.
Thanks for joining us around the table.
Yes.
Metaphysical table.
Absolutely.
Sherry's a very, very nice, sweet lady.
Oh, do you know her?
Yeah, you do too.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Oh, whoops.
Sherry, I'm sure she remembers you.
Just not today.
It's a blonde
Just
moment.
not
You know,
today.
it's been a day. It's been a day, Sherry. I'm sorry.
Well, I think it's nice to meet you. Welcome.
Yes,
Yes.
very nice.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome in.
That's right. Welcome to the gathering.
Oh gosh.
Absolutely.
All right. So what else is up, you guys? What else are we bringing around the metaphysical table today? I was trying to look for Bigfoot this weekend. I didn't find him.
No.
We're up north.
Well, that's too bad.
looking.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's
So-
the hide and seek champion. you know?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jason.
When Jerry was talking about those cold cases, it kind of reminded me of when we were talking to Leon, I think last week, and he was talking about a lot of what we might call cryptids might actually be like spirits stuck in between realms, is kind of how I understood it, or in transit. And you kind of wonder with your cold case stuff, as you get closer and closer to truths and evidences, like maybe you might encounter some very oddities, because you're going into some very interesting realms that maybe some crossing and blending there. Do you think is that something you kind of anticipate? Does it get like amped up on the paranormal energy level?
What do you think? Because I think it has. I mean, when we first started doing it and stuff, there was little things happening. And then all of a sudden, once the ladies started doing the calling of the spirits, you know, all women doing it, that's when things really started to, you know, really started to show.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty amazing. But yeah, you know, I mean, I believe just that spirits will talk to us, not just one, but I think many of them will. And I don't know. I know you believe that too, don't you, Heidi?
Mm-hmm.
That spirits do talk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they do. You know, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, I watch for all your stuff as it comes up. It's you guys are you guys stay busy and consistently putting stuff out, and it's good to see. It's good to see, and it's easy to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like the bouncing ball effect.
We do.
There we go.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Good deal.
All right.
So, I have one little story to share from this weekend. When we were up at this camp, it's a YMCA camp that anybody can go to it. And we were up there with a group of people in this big cabin. We rented this big cabin that can hold like 10, 12. No, there was 14 of us and we were all able to stay in the one cabin.
Oh, wow.
So we were staying there, and there was a point, you know, once people know what Tim and I do with the paranormal and stuff like that, they start asking about stories and whatever. So we had been telling a couple of stories, and then I started doing some tarot readings for people because people were like, I said, I have my cards here. Does anybody want a reading? And whoosh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
And while I was doing a reading, someone came in. Tim saw this person and it made him jump because he was so clear. But Tim looked over and there was a guy standing against the wall, and he jumped, and the guy sitting next to him is like, are you okay? And Tim's like, there is someone standing right there. And so it was pretty cool because the way Tim said that the guy was standing is he was standing kind of like, I don't know if I'll get cut off a camera, but he was standing like this. Right?
Like just waiting.
He's standing like, when he said that, it sounded like security.
Oh.
Like a security person, you know how they stand and they got their arms and they're just standing there, and his back was up against the wall and he could see the whole room. And Tim told me what he looked like. And I said, oh, he was here security for what I was doing because it was so open. And I did probably 12 readings. So out of 14 people, 12 people wanted a reading. Mm-hmm. And he stood there the whole time. And I said, I think he's a security personnel for all this opening that we're doing during this, during all these readings and doing all this talking, because, you know, it's not something that everybody in the group this wasn't their normal thing.
Right.
And so I think a couple of people were kind of scared, like what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was like this extra presence of protection there just to help everybody feel like safe and
isn't that wild when you see that? It's like, Jerry, it's like the man in blue down at Walcott's baby cemetery. I mean, he was standing right next to me that night. You saw him. Yep. Everybody's seen him from time to time. It's like he's there guarding the babies. You know, it's
like
fabulous.
Like a paranormal security guard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. Cool. Isn't that kind of what Dogman is a little bit? Something maybe
kind
like
of,
that.
Sort of. Well, that's what we've learned, right? Yeah, that's what we've learned.
Yeah.
I like it.
Interesting. Interesting.
Cool. So
you didn't notice that guy though?
He was behind me.
Okay.
So I was doing the readings. I was sitting on the couch and using the coffee table, and I would have someone sitting here, and he was kind of sitting back here behind me. Or standing back there. So I couldn't see him. Tim was sitting across from me on another couch looking this way, and he saw him standing behind me against the wall.
What did Tim think of that? He's normally your protector. Like when you're doing stuff, he usually holds that space.
Yeah. So I think they were giving Tim the night off. Not that Tim wouldn't also be very protective. He would, but he was kind of like starting to unwind a little bit and relax. And so I think it was almost, they were giving him permission too, to just chill out. Like,
that's nice.
Which is good because he needs it. He needs time to just unwind too. So, you know, he saw that and he he could tell like there's people or spirits anyway that are still going to take this, protection thing, even though Tim was kind of relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. So that's one of my things.
Yeah. Very cool.
Mm-hmm. So
how long have you been involved in paranormal, Cindy?
Oh gosh, I started coming like 8 years ago,
mhm.
maybe
Something like that.
I'd had, I originally started taking like Heidi's classes and coming to see her for Reiki and not the paranormal because I had enough like other like things happen. It's like, oh, I don't want to call any more, things in. Like I don't need to screw this up anymore. But I just getting more. I've always been fascinated by it. So it was just kind of an evolution, just to start going, coming to the paranormal events and going out with them at times and stuff. So it's fascinating. I absolutely love it. Like, there's always something new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, always a new experience.
Always.
Yep.
So.
That's probably about the same timeline for me as about 8 years. Probably Bigfoot kind of dragged me into the paranormal stuff, and then even like the first time we interviewed Heidi and Stephanie, we were still very still pretty flesh and blood, Bigfoot type stuff, and basically kind of followed Bigfoot like a Pied Piper into the paranormal world, and also followed Stephanie into a lot of the paranormal, kind of drag kicking and screaming.
Oh, they did. Yes, they would just look at me with big eyes, like what? But then it started making sense, right? It started making sense.
Yeah, can we just go back to the big guy?
Tommy, especially. You had more of an open mind, but Tommy was always like, "Oh God, here she goes again."
Yes.
Anyway,
Where are you located, Jason? Are you in Minnesota?
No. I'm in Northwest Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's basically the Cryptovania headquarters is just about 45 minutes south of Lake Erie, on that little stretch of Pennsylvania, in Northwest Pennsylvania, and that's our stomping grounds around there.
Nice.
And very very rich paranormal and Bigfoot and cryptid area for us. We've got Kinzu's not very far away. It's kind of like our eastern border, and Salt Fork and the stuff in eastern Ohio is like our western border, and Pittsburgh's kind of our southern border. But those are our stomping grounds.
Nice.
Yeah,
it's beautiful there too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We live in. I really like it here. I'm a big fan of where we're at, and I grew up all over the place. I was in Southern California for many years as a kid, and Las Vegas and Montana. And when it all came down to it, this is the place that I chose to put down my roots, and this is where it's at. And I'm a big fan of where we're at.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of a common theme for me too, and that's kind of what we do with Cryptovania is celebrate our little area here, and then encourage other people to celebrate theirs too, and that's kind of that's where I come from on that kind of stuff.
We're gonna have to road trip to Pennsylvania to check that out.
Yeah,
I agree.
Mm-hmm. I know. Yeah. I've been saying that for 10 years, Jason. Yeah. I mean, it's been a long time.
Yes.
I never quite get out of there.
And we do, and we would love to have you, and we would host any combination. We've had lots of folks come down and spend a long weekend with us, like Tony Merkel and Greg Yost and Dirty South Squatch and all them guys. That was when we dove into Bigfoot and productions and stuff like that. That was kind of our first thing that we did is we started bringing in some folks and sitting them down with us and in studio, and it's just kind of grown over the years or morphed into what it is now.
Yeah,
Cool.
Well, and we've gone all
I'm
over.
not
so-
sure what it is now, but, it's
Well,
something. It's
it's
whatever it
anything.
is this
It's
week.
anything. Because I brought you guys out to Washington State with me too, out to the island,
Hmm.
to the crazy mausoleum, and yeah.
Yeah. What is that? Was that San Juan?
On island. Yep.
Yep. Yeah. That was a really cool place. Didn't you and your daughter go live from inside that?
Yep.
Yeah.
We
That
did.
was cool.
It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. That was cool. I can't remember. Is it like something Vista?
It's yes.
Oh.
I forget
remember
now. Oh
what
my
it is.
gosh, it's been a while, but yes, and when the sun sets, it lights up. It's beautiful. We weren't there at
Mhm.
sunset, but
Lights look.
I know
Yeah.
you're right. It is.
Yes.
Why can't I think of it? Been a
It might
day.
be. Is it
Yeah.
Sunset Vista? No, it's not. Because I remember it's the name of the episode. We
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
yes.
I don't remember. Do you remember, Jerry, what the name of it is out there? The mausoleum? It's something Vista. I call it Vista. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I just remember Steph screaming and said there was a shadow, and it
Oh,
was
that was the best video
Stephanie
ever.
herself.
Mhm.
Well, Casey and I went back there, right? And you're not supposed to be back there after dark. So we undercover, we broke the rules, went over there, didn't even have a flashlight, and it's dark back there. It's in the woods. You
Super
saw.
prepared.
Yep. And so we're coming back and we had the video going or whatever. And then the light shone something else and it looked like a shadow. I thought it was actually what I thought it was an animal running across the path, and I screamed. And Casey was like, What, Mom? And I'm like, oh, it was just my shadow. The best video ever. It's just a little short little clip. I don't know. I think we might have it on the Sim website somewhere. I don't
Yeah, it
know,
might
but
be.
it's funny. Yeah. So Alta Vista or something, or Vista. Why can't I think? I'll remember it the minute we get off air. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Jason, do you spend more time then on the cryptids or paranormal? Or is it like an equal?
I would say definitely much more cryptids. Although we're doing the gathering, that gives me basically a weekly dip into the paranormal. But most of our stuff is cryptids and such, and some local legends and stuff like that. Giants are my favorite. And we have considerable maybe evidence of giants here. And that's my favorite is ancient giants that were here. And I really, that's the rabbit hole I enjoy going down a lot. Giants and the mounds and North American pyramids and stuff like that. That's my favorite. And then with the quantum Bigfoot stuff is basically kind of what took me down once you go into like the quantum Bigfoot and you start to get like a taste of interdimensionality, then it starts to like kind of lead you into more of the paranormal. So I think really the quantum Bigfoot aspect is put out by like Ron Moorhead and such, that's really kind of bled me into the paranormal, and basically from a quantum standpoint.
Yeah, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
I watched a show not that long ago where they were talking about the giants, like you're talking about, and they were specific in that area of the country where you are. So that's very cool.
It's even the name Allegheny. We're in the Allegheny Basin, the Allegheny River Basin. It's theorized that it was actually named by that's the name that the Delaware had for the tribe or race of giants that inhabited this area. So the Allegheny River, our main thoroughway, might actually be named after the giants themselves. And I just find that fascinating.
Yeah.
Not very far from here, probably 15 to 20 miles from my house, there was a dig from from about 1905, 1895, that kind of area, where they have the biggest reported giant in North America was from that spot in West Hickory. And it was purported to be 18 feet long, and have like a bronze helmet and a sword, and then there's like local newspaper clippings that they had this giant skeleton on display, and then the folks from the Smithsonian came in and took it off and never returned with it, and that's documented in newspaper clippings and stuff, and so that's kind of something that's my big thing. I love it. I love it. Yeah, and we have around here these that same period of time, there used to be like 3,000 to 5,000 oil pits that were dug here and lined with timbers, that we've kind of theorized were the first oil boom. The first ever commercial oil well was actually drilled in just a couple miles from my house, called Drake's Well. So that the start of the very first oil boom that we know of might be within the same area as a previous oil boom that we didn't know about. So that's my fascination there.
Wow, I had no idea.
That's very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And we just stumbled across that, and I've actually seen some of these pits, because with the water here, there's so much oil here that sometimes it's on top of the water, and in like eddies and slow water areas, you'll see like this orangish rainbowy scum, and it's actually the crudest of crude oils, and it used to be collected. The legends have it that the natives collected it for their hair, but that's an awful lot of that's an awfully huge endeavor for something very cosmetic, that doesn't really ring true. And the Seneca themselves don't actually have a story for making those pits. It kind of seems like it's something that the local historians have kind of used just as a story to cover a gap. So that's here in Northwest Pennsylvania. I could talk for a couple hours about that.
That alone,
I know,
giants is worth a road trip.
And 18 feet. I mean, that's like over 3 of me, because I'm 5 feet.
Yeah. And it's well known as the largest reported giant finding, and they found it when they were digging for oil. Basically, they were clearing an area to put in an oil well, and came across this grave site. Basically,
awesome.
Figures the Smithsonian would take it.
Yeah.
Have you been to Smithsonian to see if they display it, or did they take it and nobody's seen
it? There seems to be that those paper trails seem to get very hard to follow. When it comes to that kind of stuff. And matter of fact, that's probably enough. There's enough there for probably a couple of episodes of some shows about those paper trails, with the Smithsonian. Even like locally, there's a mound here that the farmer remembers when he was a kid in the 60s, Smithsonian folks coming and digging and taking things, and nobody really knows what they.
It's almost like Project Blue Book, Jason. They came and took everything and then denied it. You know?
You will find that if you go into a lot of those rabbit holes, the Smithsonian will often kind of take almost like the role of like Illuminati type of thing, where they're like perceived by a lot of people as gatekeepers, gathering evidence and keeping it for themselves.
Yeah. Very
Wow.
cool.
That's wild.
Okay, it's Afterglow Vista. See, I knew I remembered.
Yes.
Yeah.
Afterglow Vista.
I
Yes.
looked it up. But then, of course,
Yes.
I'm like, oh, yeah, how can I forget that? Because it's such a cool name, Afterglow Vista.
Yep. And that was a good episode. That was a good episode.
We should do an episode on giants.
We should do an
Yes.
episode on giants.
Oh, I would love to.
And then
Yeah,
we need
I
to
would
do a
love
road
to.
trip.
And
We all
road
We're
trip.
gonna do a road
Oh.
trip. We'll do it on location.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
The Copeland Trestle too. We can
On the
just
way.
hit a
Yeah.
bunch of them
Yeah,
all
we can
together.
do that on the way.
Yeah, for sure.
We just
And
do
that's something that Leon and I have talked a few times about because he's documented a lot of graves and mounds and stuff, and some have been very small and some have been very big, and that's some interesting stuff there.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Oh,
Oh my gosh. Okay, it's been an hour. So
We have hit our hour mark.
I know.
An hour, so-
Yeah, we did. So
but we got we got a topic now. We're gonna do
yes.
giants for sure.
Absolutely.
And at some point, maybe this summer, we can
Absolutely.
do a road trip.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, I love it.
I've got a trip for you guys. I'm not going to say anymore.
Don't say it yet. Tell us
I'll
later.
tell you guys.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, thanks to our guests
Yes.
here in
Thanks
studio.
for being
That was
here.
super fun. And
Thank you.
Jason, as always.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you to
Thank
all
you.
who are watching and who will watch. Thanks for making it a fabulous place. Thank you to all the troops who may be watching. Please be safe. It's a crazy world out there, and we appreciate your service.
Yes. And thank you again for everybody joining us around the metaphysical table tonight. And we'll look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah. We're on Tuesday
Thanks,
next
everybody.
week. Tuesday next week.
Tuesday next week.
Oh, Tuesday next week.
Yeah, 'cause we have
Yep.
Sarah Lemos, psychic medium Sarah
Oh.
Lemos is going to be on. So she'll be awesome. So good night, everyone.
Good
See ya.
night.